Hello, everyone. I hope that your morning or day is going well or will go well for you, especially for the children of Israel, house of Judah, the house of Ephraim, the house of Jacob, all of you, all the 12 tribes. I hope that things are going well. Um, I'm coming to you because last night, or the wee hours in the morning actually, I believe that I was remote viewed. Instead of me remote viewing, I believe that a supernatural, um, angelic force actually was able to enter my mind, and I was not scared. It did not frighten me, and it felt like, not that it felt like, but the the landscape was very clear, and it wasn't something that I was thinking of. I wasn't in control of it, but I got the um, impression fairly quickly that they were going after uh, some damage that may have happened to my brain, and also too they were going after any nanotechnology that is in my system. So it was there were just these different landscapes, different shapes, almost like an octagon or triangle, boxy, that were like almost as if you're looking at a mural, uh, like a Greek or Egyptian mural, and then something or uh, some beings were going around grabbing hold of these spindly like structures that were running from them. And so it was more or less in the twilight, like a semi-consciousness. So I was asleep, but then I was conscious, and then I'll wake up, and I'll feel myself wake up, and then I'll go back to sleep again. And um, I wake up right now, and I feel like these little, like a tingling feeling in certain parts of my brain or my head, like at the top on my left side, and then sometimes around my temple on my right side. It does not hurt, it's just a mild tingling. But I was told by an anointed one that if it's an angelic presence or whatnot, that the Most High God doesn't cause fear, like to scare the heck out of you, but Satan does. And as Black folks, we are well aware of the difference. So I didn't. I even though I was, semi-conscious, like I was aware. Um, and they didn't say much to me, but I can tell that something was going on with my brain, and I got the feeling that they were helping me. Um, so it's an interesting time that we live in. Um, I don't know if you've had any of those experiences. Um, and as descendants of slaves, the true Hebrew Israelites, um, my hope is that they are not encounters that are frightening to you, and that there's a work going on inside of us so that we may be able to perform our duties or what we are sent here to do to the utmost fullest. I believe that the repair has to, of course, come from the inside out. And there are some things that some medications and some remedies that are not to be found in all of America, even with the wisest of people who mean the best for many of us who are really stricken by the ill effects of this nation and in the world that we live in. And sometimes we do need that spiritual power to come in and do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. So whatever needs to be done, I welcome it. And I praise Yah for helping me in this way. And I hope that he does, or that she does, the healing for all of us. Um, Part of that is my expectation and my anticipation that that will happen. So the next thing I want to talk about is the immigrant situation. Um, you know, there's a lot to be said about today, and in this time that we live in, it's a day of vengeance. And so, from what the AP News is reporting is that President Trump has shut down all of third world countries from immigrating into the United States. And do you know, brothers and sisters, that that is him prepping for what's about to go down in this country? We are told, um, uh, those of us who are spiritual and who have been in religion, that at some point the doors of America will be shut in and no one will be able to come in and no one will be able to come out because the Lord, our God, Most High, has to contend with our enemies, which are his enemies as well. So now it seems that he has closed the borders, and I don't think that they're going to be allowed to be opened again. Um, I will ask all of you to look with spiritual eyes at what is taking place. I believe also at some point he's going to close them even for Europe, probably sooner than later. Or perhaps Europe or the white nations will close their borders from anybody coming in and anybody coming out. And what this has triggered for me is the thought that Three-Eye Atlas or the other objects that are in our space and that are floating around or, in outer space are now making maneuvers to come toward the earth. Also, with the many videos of, UFOs, quote unquote, flying around in our atmosphere, I get the sense that this is also part of the Lord's great army, and that we are probably going to have open contact with them as Black folk, that the descendants, that those who are the true Hebrews will now be coming into contact with these beings, and these beings are going to begin to face to face, eyeball to eyeball, um, to contact certain ones. It's probably not going to be all, but it's going to be those who are going to be instrumental in the final moments of this nation. So, truly, what came up for me yesterday was the biblical notation of the fight between the great Satan and the woman. And it says to the effect that he will bruise you in the heel, but that you would bruise him in the head, and that or Satan, and in that bruising in the head or striking in the head is a death blow. So there is something called the prophecy of fire. The prophecy of fire, F-I-R-E. And in the last few days, or in the last week, we've had the ring of fire that circumvents the Pacific Ocean. There have been multiple volcanoes that have erupted. Some have been laid dormant for thousands of years. The one in particular that I'm going to do another video on to give you some of the prophetic understanding of it, is the one in Ethiopia. The one that in Ethiopia, you know that the Falasha tribe, which is a lost Hebrew tribe that is in Africa. But the main thing is that they have the full accounting of all the biblical books. And some say that they even have the Ark of the Covenant that is stationed there when the Queen of Sheba was given it by King David and brought it back to Ethiopia. So there's a mountain that has been dormant for over 12,000 years. And 12 is a prophetic number. Anyway, that volcano has erupted. It has erupted last week. And also, too, there are volcanoes along the western coastline of America. So that includes Washington, Oregon, and California. And then it goes into, I believe, some of the Hawaiian islands have erupted. They've been erupting anyway, but a lot of the, even along California, a lot of the, or the West Coast, a lot of those volcanoes also been dormant, but now they're erupting. It goes all the way up against Africa, all the way in Asia. There's a lot of places in Asia where um, there is a still significant black presence, has also those are volcanoes erupting, but it's really the Pacific Ocean that I'm going to home in on, and how that there is um, a landmass that sits in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, but we have not been allowed to know about it, and it's not official, of that landmass that sits in the middle of the Pacific, and that it explains why a lot of planes don't head or fly over a certain area of the Pacific Ocean. And know that the Pacific Ocean is literally, the earth is basically half of the earth is water. And so this is very, very significant. And most of the volcanoes, the explosion and their dormant state prior to the explosion, all of them land on prophetic numbers 7, 9, 10, 12. So this is and it's happening now. I'm going to get a little bit more into that. I just want to kind of read over some information that I have stored away, and I want to bring that back out. But there's a lot of dynamic that is going on, and the pulling of power from even now just basically the white folks pulling their power to affect things. And so you're going to have them scrambling even more until the cord breaks loose for them. And when that happens, it's going to be a spiritual thing as well as a physical. And brothers and sisters, we're going to have to brace ourselves, because these people may go absolutely wild. I mean, insane, because they're going to feel it in their souls. They're starting to feel it, but when that snap happens, it's going to be another level. And I fear for the immigrant that's being locked into this nation. Because they're not going to be able to see the people of the powers that shouldn't be, the people who have benefited the most. They're not going to be able to come after us. They're not going to be able, their spirit is not going to even be pushed to wanting to come after us, but they're going to have to release it somehow. And I fear that the immigrant who stayed here and received ill-gotten gains, you got to pay for that too. And I fear that they will actually be going after them, and that is going to be potentially a real nasty piece of work that will happen. So don't be surprised if you start to see it even more and more and more so. Again, I have said in earlier recordings, and I will encourage you to go back and look at my, because I have like, less than 45 recordings. I would encourage you to go back and look at my other videos that will kind of get you up to speed about what's going on. So we have a lot to see, and it will be marvelous in our eyes. So stay tuned for that, for more information on the spiritual level regarding the prophecy of fire, and how the volcanoes are involved with that, and how the earth is changing the dynamic of power, right? Now that Satan and the demons have been cut off from it. And so, and how that, and to whom is that power going to go to? And what is the prophecy about fire? Okay. All right. So stay tuned, and thank you for listening. Please like, share, and donate to my Cash App, which is Judah Reigns 74. And be safe. Keep your eyes open. And, um, and I hope that the creator of the universe is communicating with you as well, or the angels at least. Thank you.